Good morning. It's Friday, Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. Cinco de Mayo is a national holiday in Mexico. It's a yearly celebration held on this day which commemorates the anniversary of Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. And the Mexicans were led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. And the victory over the French army was a morale boost for the Mexican people. So I don't want to talk about that anymore. It also happens to be my birthday. But what I want to talk about is what happened here on May 3rd, on Wednesday. On Wednesday at the Y, they had a lockdown drill. The entire staff was marching around the building, doing various things that were related to the major event that continues to plague this country. And I'm talking about gun violence and the invasion of institutions by these killers. The killings that take place in supermarkets, in schools, at concerts. You name it, you name any gathering, and we have an event, a disastrous event, a shooting. And every day we start off with a shooting someplace. So the Y is taking precautions. And they had staff walking around the building and interrupting sessions that were going on, pretending we've got a lost child. We're looking for so-and-so. You better get here. It's time to march down to the gym. All of the people, all of the staff were involved in this. And this is going to continue. We have been told this is going to continue, and it is going to involve the participants, the membership at the Suffolk YJCC. And this reminds me of when I was a young kid during World War II. And we had drills, and we had to hide under our desks. So that's what's happening in this country. That is action that has been taken. And that was just one of the events that was kind of upsetting on Wednesday. The other event was the phone call I received from my daughter. Because my daughter, who lives in Atlanta, was in the middle of a lockdown. And the lockdown was because the shooter was out in the street in her neighborhood and killed somebody and shot 5 other people and was still at large at that point. Now, my daughter, as most of you know, works for CNN, and she was at work. But that doesn't mean she was far from her home, because she only lives like a mile or two away from her office. So she was in her office, locked down. And she called me to let me know that she was okay. Did I hear about the shooting that was going on in her neighborhood? And I hadn't heard about it because at that particular time I was ranting, getting ready for yesterday's rant, right? So I didn't know anything about what was going on in Atlanta at that particular time. And then I followed it a little bit later on, and finally the gentleman who did the shooting was captured later on in the day. And so I bring all this to you today in my birthday celebration. And this is what I believe should be done in this country to attack the gun situation. It's time for those in our Congress, in our Senate, who are opposed to gun violence, to do something about it. Not to allow these states that have no gun regulations at all to create after shootings, to loosen whatever regulations they have. In Tennessee, there was a shooting, and the first thing they did was make it easier to get a gun. And the same thing happened in Kentucky. And what was bothering me is in this whole debt ceiling regulation that's going on, the fight over the debt ceiling, Kevin McCarthy and his forces have presented their version of a debt limit ceiling plan. If we want to raise the debt ceiling, we have to give them concession. Fine, if you want to negotiate, the Democrats and those who oppose guns should stand up and say, you're not getting anything until we get something that will eliminate gun violence. How about putting that on the table every single time there's a deal that has to be made? Why aren't our representatives representing the nation? 65 or 70% of the people in this country are against the gun ownerships that goes on. But unfortunately for us, we have many states, over 20 of them, that believe in the misquoted version of the Second Amendment of the Constitution, where they take the wording well-regulated militia, meaning that everybody can carry a gun, and everybody can have an AR-15. And that is so far from the meaning of those words as to not even be mentioned. So why? Why, when every kind of negotiation goes on to improve some situation, the gun opponents don't say anything? The opponents of gun violence in this country are stum. They allow everything to go on in Congress without stepping up and saying, we're not giving you anything unless you do something about gun violence. Because that's the only way I believe we will get anywhere. We have to force a compromise over the gun situation in this country. And it's a shame that I have to make a big deal out of this on my birthday. But you know what? I'm glad I'm making a big deal on my birthday about this. Because if I ever wanted a present for my birthday, it would be the elimination of gun violence in this country. Because I am really tired of listening to this shit every single day. As the kids get killed, as their parents get killed, and we, who have the power possibly to stop it, don't do anything concrete to stop the gun violence. So I leave you with that. Take care. Bye.